Well, welcome back to Refrestos for yet another episode on the M113 Capri conversion. Now, some of you may be wondering, Jordan, why are you sat on your spare engine? I don't actually know why I am, to be honest. It's just a comfy seat. But there's a reason the spare engine's back out again. If you guys watched the last episode, you remember me going through... The last might have been the episode before. The last few episodes, remember I've had a few issues with this engine. Mainly cylinder 1, cylinder 5. Tried a few quick fixes, or things that would prolong the engine issues, and it's too far gone. It's dead. So, be holding a memorial service next Saturday for that one. No, we're not. The only thing that's going to be holding in the future is cups of coffee, because that's going to be a coffee table. A very expensive coffee table. Great. So you live and you learn. That engine was, from the person I bought it off of, the impressions I got from them, it'd also been sat around a few years. And then the condition of the engine, as I've sort of slowly looked at bits and bobs of it, it's not in a good life. It's ruined. Which is really unfortunate. Now, the engine I'm sat on is the one I bought, again, sight unseen, cheap on eBay. This is an S500 engine, so it's got the wrong sump. It's got the front bowl sump, remember we were going to try and use when I thought the rear bowl might not be suitable. But this engine's only 90,000 miles. There is various differences with it, and I also need to use a lot of ancillaries from that one, but I'm going to have to use this engine. I wanted to wait a few months, really, because I just want to get that on the road. You know, and I've got a very tight deadline and not much time left. But I think I've spent enough time messing about with it now. I can't do it. It's smoking too much. It's misfiring because it's now burning. It's too much oil. The cylinders are just oil on 1 and 4 now. So I can't use it. So we've got to use this engine. Problem is, before I now put this engine in, I want to check this engine over. And to put this engine in, yeah, we've got to change the mid plate of the sump, the bottom part of the sump. Probably have to take the timing cover off, maybe change the oil pump. Got to change all the oil pump feeds, because obviously the sump's different places. Got to bolt on, obviously, all the parts from that engine that have been modified onto this engine. Renew all the gaskets I've disturbed. Change the water pump, temperature sensor, all that kind of stuff. Got to give it a little overhaul without sort of taking it and completely to bits, and a check over. Which means, well, I guess I could do all the work in a day, I guess, so it's another day setback. Plus, obviously, I'm to remove all that engine again, fit all this one instead, put it all back. I'm going to take the whole thing apart again to put it back together to continue on now. But these things happen, don't they? It's a project. I can't expect everything to be plain sailing and easy, can I? Especially not when I'm trying to put a Mercedes 5-litre V8 into a Ford Capri. So as far as the internet's concerned, I'm not the first person to think about putting an M113 in a Capri. I'm not the first person to attempt it, but I think I am the only person to actually succeed in doing it so far. I would say succeed. We haven't got there yet. But as of last episode and the episode before that, we've got an M113 running in a Capri. We've got an M113 driving in a Capri. Which to me means we've at least achieved that goal. It's not on the road yet, but it is a running, driving M113 powered Ford Capri. Which is exactly what we set out to do at the start of this series, after some stupid idea that I wanted to use an engine I'd never ever seen in person, let alone had any experience with. So, yeah, we're working through it. We've hit a major snag, but it's nothing we're not going to get over, provided this engine isn't ruined. If this engine is ruined, I'm going to have to go buy another engine, a third one, which no, please don't. I've seen inside cylinder 1 of this engine so far, and it was cleaner than any other cylinder in that engine by far. But we best check all 8 cylinders. Obviously, the only thing I don't know is I just don't know why this engine was for sale. 90k miles, I'm hoping it's because the car is rotten, because that's very common with Mercedes, or it's crash damaged, one or the other. But someone has started to take off the fuel rail and inlet manifold net. Whether they're breaking it for parts or using it for spares, or whether it's knackered. I might check back on eBay listing for it again and just see. But it was cheap. I think I paid about 200 quid for it. So, for me I was like, oh, perfect. You know, I thought the engine was fine at the time. It's like, this has got the other kind of sump. Worst case, it's just a pile of spares. For 200 quid, worth every penny all day long for spares. But this one might actually be the engine to go in that. So, I'm going to shut up now because I've been talking for ages. Sorry for boring you. And I'm going to pull out 8 spark plugs to inspect all 8 cylinders. That's the first thing we're doing. So all the bores look fine, to be honest. Couldn't see any major wear. Every bore was much better condition than any bore on that engine anyway. That's a good sign. So at least if they end up damaged, it's my fault. Don't know how long this engine's been sitting for. Can't imagine it's been sitting anywhere near about the 2 years that that one had been sitting for. But just in case, I poured ATF down the cylinders. 2 reasons. One, because also I'm turning it over. I don't want to scratch the bores if they're dry, which obviously after a while they will be a bit dry. So it's a bit of lubrication. Not only that, ATF helps to free up stuck cylinder rings and such. So it's not a bad thing, the ATF edge, to be sitting in the bores now. Protect the bores, protect the pistons, and help loosen the carbon a bit and free up the piston rings if they are stuck. So obviously it's going to make a bit of a mess when I start the engine up to start with. It's going to be smoky and horrible. But as long as it's only smoky when I start it up, not after a few miles, we'll be fine. And also I'm probably going to plan on getting some seafoam in, and I'll seafoam this engine as well because there's carbon on the pistons. Do it some favours. So I'll pop the plugs back in because now I want to see actually if I can feel some compression. Oh, yeah. Oh. Oh, wow. Yeah. Another quick stroke. Yep. I don't want to turn the engine over by starting motor and do a compression test unless I put oil in it. If we're thinking logical here, there should be 4 compression strokes per rotation of the crank pulley, because it'd be 2 rotations per full set of cylinders getting fired. Because obviously crankshaft goes twice, camshafts go once. It's right, isn't it? So theoretically, if I mark the pulley, I should see a compression stroke every 90 degrees. Well, I do seem to get compression, so that's good. I guess next best bet is to start stripping off everything we don't need, really. Make it as small as possible to make it easy to deal with and clean it up. And have a look at the bottom end. So just stripping this one down. A fair bit of sludge has fallen off this intake manifold into these ports that need cleaning out in a second. Including that bolt. Not sure you guys can see a minute. A little bolt stuck down there in it. That's not ideal. That's what I really do not want in my cylinders. Let's try getting him back out before he causes some damage. There he is. Little git. So I'm going to blow these ports out a minute, stuff these all full of blue roll, and then give away some blow because it's got years of crud on it. Everything's all cruddy. Nice. Right, engine stripped down mostly on a stand. Now we know there's a little bit of oil still in the pan, so why not have a quick peek and see what's going on in here. It's a bit dark and thick. Well, I'd expect this to be slightly more sludgy a bit, because obviously it's drained prior to shipping, probably cold, drained. Unless they drained it before they moved out the engine, out of the car. This has been drained out like that, and then obviously whatever's just been collected in the bottom now is what seeped down from the last few months, at least if it's sitting around. It's not full of fuel though. It's still oily. It's a bit dark, but it's not terrible. So we'll let that drain a minute. We need to pull this tube off up here, don't we? What one's that one? Yeah, close enough. Back in a minute. Definitely talk to spec. So dipstick tube should come out now, hopefully. Seconds. Here it is. There it is. That's that one out. Now I do like the exhaust manifolds on these things. They are really nicely done. Tidy, factory. Yeah, nice. All the exhaust studs undone as well. Someone's been into here, someone's started taking off the exhaust manifold before. So I don't understand why someone's been into this engine yet. I'm hoping we're not going to find like a load of bearing in the bottom of the sump or something. Feel wise, I'm sure I can feel the compression strokes. All the cylinders look fine. Yeah. Unless someone just wanted to use it for something. Maybe. Like a coffee table and decided to abandon the project. I don't know. Really odd. I tried to go back on the listing a moment ago, but eBay had taken it down. So I don't know if I can maybe find it on the computer or try and see. Right. We'll say that's enough, because it's going to make a mess anyway. No matter what. Wow. Is it ready to come off? I don't know. Let's find out. Yeah, probably against the flex plate. Let's find it. Oh, it's loose. It's off. So what we have now is the crankcase. Any immediate, oh shit, oh, the bores look relatively good. Let's take off main bearing cap. Tight. Also tight. I guess. Instead of putting a big gun on it. God, I need to use a bigger ratchet. Guys, I'm assuming I'm going to have to torque these back up really tight. Very tight. Alright, so what we're faced with here. So there's one of our crankshaft, the conrod big ends, that's the one, and one of our main bearings. And to be fair, they're quite tidy. The big end bearing, it's got some wear on it on the top there. It's not crazy though. It's not bad. There's no big scoring or pitting in it, which is good. Okay. And then our yeah, same again really with our big end main bearing cap. It's got wear on it, but it's not bad. So I'm still yet to find out really as to what why this engine was taken apart. Bit of slop here in the oil chain, but that might be off of hydraulic tensioner as well for that chain. There's definitely a tensioner or blade there. Main chain. Yeah. You guys probably can't see it from here too well, but the bores down there are actually in really good nick. Interesting. And the crankcase is dirty, but it's nothing crazy. So I think we're on to a good winner here. We've got a good engine. I think it's all too clean to have major issues, to be honest. So we'll go with that. Now remind me to retorque these back down again afterwards. So that's another day. A whole bunch of parcels later. Perfect. And we're back on the Capri. So today's plan was to get that engine, transmission, everything out, build an engine out of both of them, get it back in, get back running. Problem is, I've just had like 3 nights with limited sleep, and I am yeah, you're not great. So that might be being optimistic now today. So I'm going to take it easy-ish. I'm just going to keep cracking on until we get somewhere. So I'm not going to bore you guys with too much filming here right now, because you've seen this engine come in and out a million times already. So have I. So I'm going to pull this out now, strip that engine down to like the same state as this one, I guess, give you guys an update, and then we'll start building one and hoping to get it back in at some point. Yeah. I'll crack on. So I'm still absolutely shattered, but we got the spare engine and the broken engine. Now I need to move across the water pump, all the ancillaries, intake manifold, exhausts, the whole sump, mid-plate setup, oil pump, the whole lot onto this engine. And I also need to cut out this as well, I think. So this is where the starter would go, but on this engine it's on the other side. So I need to work out if I can cut that out. Oh, I don't know if I can. What can I? Got to compare that to... Ignore the mess. Yeah, actually I think I can do. Just got to put a big hole in it for the starter to fit through. That could be fun. So I've got to do that, just draining the oil down now. All that lovely money getting wasted straight away there, great. So yeah, I'm basically going to start stripping these down. Because this is only, well, not even a week between making this decision, I struggle to get gaskets, or any gaskets that arrive on time. So I haven't got gaskets. Now the sump and mid-plate use gasket sealer. The water pump uses 2 different gaskets, which I'm hoping I can just RTV up. The exhaust gaskets, really hard to get in this country. If you can get them, they're really expensive. But if I get all the gaskets from America, I can get all the Victor Reigns ones and all the decent gaskets for so cheap. The highest part of the cost is the tax now from Brexit and the import. So I'm going to try and wing it with no gaskets for now. I'm going to reuse the old gaskets and a bit of RTV, and then once we're all good, and I take it apart to make a clean engine proper one day, I'll put obviously all the brand new gaskets in it, along with powder coat and all the rock covers, make it all proper nice. But for now, we're just aiming to get it working. So I'm going to start on that mammoth task. Yay. So, I may have made a bit of a mess here. And it's a bit of a, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I can't remember where all these engine parts go. Just, yeah. Anyway, so this is the engine that's come out. That there is the oil pump setup on the rear bowl sump M113 engine. So quite a comprehensive setup with these pickup pipes. And they have different bolts that go down on the main bearing caps here to allow to bolt these pipes on. When you unbolt it, you don't have to remove front timing cover because there's enough slack on the chain to take it off, which is perfect. That is the mid plate and the sump for the rear bowl sump setup. And that one has the mid plate and the sump for the front bowl. So very different. Hence why I wanted to use a rear bowl sump, and I needed the M113 something 67, whatever it is, 667, I can't remember, along them lines. Not the 60. So I know the 60 engine is the front bowl setup. So yeah, it's interesting. Inside actually is fairly clean, which is good. Cleaner than the 90k one actually in the sump, which is interesting. Although it did have obviously a load of petrol go in it, and then I put new oil in it and all that, so that might have helped. Anyway, I'm waffling on now. I'm still tired. There's no chance I'm going to get it running today, because that's just, I'm not throwing it together that quick. So next on the list now, I need to transfer this oil pump setup over onto the M113 960 lump, and then I can start cleaning off all the gaskets, all the RTV off the sump mid plate, bottom plate, get all the RTV'd up, bolt it back on, then I can flip it around and I can start bolting back on every ancillary, which is a fair bit of work still. Oh well, someone's got to do it, and that's going to have to be me, isn't it? Yay! I'll crack on. Well, I'm back again. It's now, well, I only done part of the day last Saturday, and now we're the following bank holiday Monday. I haven't been in the workshop since. Not ideal for progress. And there's a reason for that. And this is the reason. I seem to have purchased this thing. Here's my 9-week-old Sprockador. And you'll take up all my time, aren't you? Yeah. Little shit. And now you're going around the workshop making a mess. And I've got to try puppy-proof the place now. So yeah, I've got to now try and puppy-proof the workshop a second, which, with a puppy with me. Yeah. And then I'll see if I can try and make some engine progress. Providing you stop trying to lick out the bottom of the sump. I'll use brake cleaner and blue roll for that, okay? Yeah? Empty, aren't you? You still have oil already. Right, I'll crack on a minute and we'll see if we can get some progress done today. Hopefully. Right, oil pump back on. Chain all seems to be the same size, seems to fit happy enough. Obviously I've had to replace the bolts here, here and here to better bolt on the new oil pump setup. Now, turns out the conrod bolts and all the bearing cap bolts are actually stretch bolts. Whoops. But these things happen, so yeah, we won't worry about that. So they've been reused, which is fine, right? Maybe not. I don't know. We'll find out. Yeah, we'll go with that. And then because I'm now a week later than I was expecting to do this, I could have actually ordered up new gaskets. Idiot. but I wasn't really anticipating to buy a puppy when I wasn't at all until I hadn't even seen a puppy when I started ordering stuff and thinking about doing this. So yeah, whoops. Either way, that's on there now. All the mating faces are cleaned for the mid sump, the actual bottom part of the sump as well, all done, cleaned up. That's a painstaking process, but got to be done. It's got to be done right. So they've all been scraped off, wire brushed up nicely, degreased a couple of times and whatnot. So they're all good. So not too worried about that. So now, Mercedes recommend a black Loctite something or other sealant. So I've done the right thing, and I've got grey because I have grey in my drawer, and this grey stuff has always done me really friggin' well. So, and they also recommend that we have to do a 2mm bead, plus or minus 0.5mm, Germans. And they've even got a picture on what way to route the bead as well. So I'll follow the diagram to be good. So I'm going to do that now. That's going to take me a good few minutes to do that, torque all these up. Not stretch bolts for these normal torque, they're normal sump bolts, which obviously is good. But apparently the torque from is meant to be 8.4 Newton meters. Well, I don't think my little tool zone torque wrench does that. So it'll be 9 Newton meters for good measure. So I'll see you guys once I've got this all back together, and we can start working on the other bits and bobs. Okay, well we've got the sump back on, so I'm hoping I've done it alright, and I'm hoping I've sealed it correctly. That would be nice. Didn't bother cleaning the other off, that's, it's neither here nor there. Can't put the manifolds back on until we're ready to take it off this thing, because we won't be able to turn it afterwards. I should get that started done, shouldn't I? Doesn't look fun though, does it? Does not look fun. But to do it, we need to make a template, really, of the other side, of the other engine, sorry. So maybe we'll look into that. What else we'll do here in a minute? Well, buggered. So, I guess we should jump into the water pump minute, because that's not going to be a fun job either. Jump into the water pump, and whilst we're at it, this sensor. I do it on this other engine, if you remember rightly, and I have to do it again on this engine as well. So, I'm going to move that a minute, get that sensor out, and get it replaced. And then we can get the water pump on. So we can get that on, can't we? And then we can start looking into intake manifold, which I'm not putting back on as is, because obviously we got that throttle body issue. And I also wouldn't mind testing the injectors, just in case the damage to bores was caused by faulty injectors, because that wouldn't be ideal, would it? Not at all. So I wouldn't mind testing that as well. So yeah, we've got to get the intake manifold back on, fix the throttle body, check the injectors, replace all the water pump assembly, and then we can bolt the manifolds back on. I could drill out the starter, bolt the manifolds back on, get the coil packs put back on, replace all the spark plugs, clean the spark plugs up because they fouled from cleaning last time, put all the clutch flywheel on. Oil prep, there's a fair bit to do. I'm just going to keep cracking on for now because you guys don't need to see. We've done most of this already on camera one way or another. So I'm going to try to get this engine built. Well, due to how long this video has dragged on for, longer than I thought it had, you're going to have to wait till next episode for the next bit of progress. So you can see what happens. Obviously we got the engine pretty well done, but I'm going to leave it there for now. Sorry about that. So next week you'll get to see the next bite of what actually happens in, does it work or doesn't it work? It's a big question. It's a big concern of mine. So yeah, up in Jordan, obviously there's the previous 18 episodes on the channel. There's plenty more coming. There's all the other projects. I really appreciate the support, so thank you so much for watching. And with any luck, you guys will be joining me again next time. Up in Jordan, cheers.